Well, hello there, Master Hellish here. Welcome to our Thursday night Kerbal Space Program live stream. Hello everybody, welcome. I can see we've got a few people popping in already. The counters aren't working, it's telling me 2 people are watching. I know more than 2 people are watching, I can tell there's more than that in chat. But we don't care about the counters really too much. So, I can see we've got Brandon and Egg here from Twitch at least. And Didney Land Gaming and Above the Line are watching on YouTube. And I can see there's some other people on the other platforms as well. Still got the Halloween bits and bobs on the stream. Halloween's on Monday. So, I guess this might be the last time we have them on stream. Get rid of them. They'll go away. We already did a Halloween party stream, so if you want to see that, head over to the channel, to the YouTubiness, and check it out from there, because it's gone. We did it. Hi Jack and Mac, welcome to the stream. We're going to start tonight with a small video. I think it's about 3 minutes long this time. I'm enjoying doing these little bits between streams, because it means I can just do some cleanup and stuff so that we can focus on the more exciting things in the live streams. Yeah. Brandon says, I'm automating some oily bits in Factorio. Okay. Yeah, Factorio stuff. That's going to be fun, isn't it? So I can now confirm, and I don't think I've done this publicly, that the first episode of Factorio Let's Play Series 3 will be on Sunday. I know I recently said that my schedule's updated and Factorio was in the Sunday slot, but that was always a coming soon thing. The episode has been edited, it has been put together, the thumbnails have all been done, and it's going. It's going up to the tube tomorrow, ready for Sunday, for people to view and watch and enjoy. Which will be nice. Hopefully people do enjoy it. It's going to be a bit of a different series, which I explain right at the beginning. I've got the joystick out, so we can go to Kerbal Space Program, even though the game's not open just yet. There it is. That's the Thrustmaster, whatever it is. I can't remember the exact name. It's listed on my website. It is listed on. I need to make sure that I always start with this lever down here. It feels like the default position should be in the middle, but if the rocket realizes that it's set to half thrust and we don't want it to do any thrusting, then yes, that's not good, is it? Also, there's another button here which I don't know what it does. We've got the 3 buttons down the side there. You can see my thumb going up and down them. The Thrustmaster Hellish. And these ones are the 3 buttons that are at the top of the screen. So I think it's lights, gear, and brakes. And then the ones on the back of the lever, that's SAS and RCS. And then there's this other button down here. Jackman says, what do you think to the new look of YouTube? I don't think I have been shown the new YouTube yet. Let me just... I was actually... The thing is, I watch most of my YouTube either on mobile... so on my phone, like in between other things, like when I'm on the sofa and I'm waiting for the family to join me, or something like that. Or I watch it on the Google Hub thing we've got in the kitchen while I wash up and stuff. I haven't noticed any changes yet, Jack, but what you got to remember is that these sorts of changes will come in for some people, they won't come in for other people. They'll probably gauge reaction by engagement and things like that. All that A/B testing sort of thing. If you don't know what A/B testing is, go look it up. And I wouldn't be surprised if YouTube does A/B/C testing on multiple things all over the place at the same time. Like they did that testing where they looked at doing YouTube videos that were... that had all of the ads at the beginning instead of mid-roll and at the end and so forth. So Google can decide if there's more engagement. I don't know if engagement's the right word. It's but yes, Google looks at the numbers. I mean, essentially, we tell them what the answer's going to be. You hate the ambient mode? Yeah, I can imagine some people. The thing is, though, Giacomo, what you've got to realise is that that's probably not a feature that's been rolled out to everybody, and I can't even get YouTube to play a video at the moment. I have no idea what's going on with it. It's like if I need to clear the cache and hard reload or something. Let's do that. Brandon says, I find it silly that you scroll down. That you can scroll down when it's full screen. I see. Yeah. For some reason, it's just not working at all at the moment. But I haven't got any changes. I haven't noticed any changes to YouTube right now for me. Nothing. Nada. It might be that they don't do changes for content creators as much. Yeah. So it's A/B testing is probably an oversimplification of what they've done. I highly doubt they've just split people down the middle and gone, right, let's show half of them this. They will be a subset of users that will get a new feature first, or a potential feature, and then they'll see how that goes compared to normal. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong actually. Can I go to a different video? See, that video's not loading either. I'm just getting spinning wheels on YouTube. I don't know whether it's my computer or what. I'm not going to do a speed test while I'm streaming. I suppose I could. We're only having a chat. Sometimes we get drop frames when I do that. Let's do a speed test quickly, or part of a speed test. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Has my rate changed? No, it looks like everything's okay. Basically, my internet's fine. Although, I've just realised I can't see my own preview of my own stream on Restream. So I actually do have a problem with playing video at the moment. Don't know. Stage changes, wait for bug reports and stuff. Yeah, there's that as well. They'll do testing before that. Yeah, so they did testing where people that have got their content set to 4K, they turned it down and they gauged how many people turned it back up again. And I don't remember the statistics, but it was a really, really low percentage of people who then turned the quality settings back up again. So either they didn't care that their image quality was now a little bit worse, or they never noticed. And that kind of, to me, is interesting to see. Jet says, it's more rolling out features than I asked for that could potentially ruin the user experience. I mean, they've got to try, Jackmate. They've got to do things, see what's going on. I mean, some things are going to go well with the users, some things are going to go bad with the users. Also, what you've got to realise is that your perspective of ruining your user experience, there's probably for every person, well, not for every person, but there's somebody out there that would have gone, yes, why haven't we had this feature? Finally! And so you've got to realise that your perspective of ruining your experience with that feature, somebody else will probably really love. So, you know, that's the whole point of you running these tests. And the fact that you've gone in and switched the feature off and then never switch it back on again tells YouTube something. And if lots of people do the same thing, they'll go, oh, well, we tried that and apparently people don't like it. And things like that. So all that sort of stuff. Yeah. At the moment, you can steal anyone's video as a clip and get thousands of views. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure about the clip system, but it's a relatively new thing. We'll see how it goes. I'm not yeah, but I don't think clips are monetized. So does that really matter? I'm not sure. Brandon says the thing is, it's not like there's any other popular video hosting services, so they can do what they want. Not true. There are some. Some are big in terms of the amount of people who use the platform. The biggest difference, Brandon, is that YouTube has a lot of people creating on the platform compared to other places. And the reason for that is that YouTube offers relatively good rates to creators compared to a lot of other platforms. So the creators are going to go where it's profitable for them to be, and that is YouTube at the moment. So we'll see. And Brandon says, oh yes, my favourite feature, forcing ads on Chromium browsers. I mean, to be fair, if you offer a service and you're hosting and you're serving an ad as part of that service for free, and people are getting around that, I don't think you really have a leg to stand on. Yeah. I don't, I mean, and I suppose maybe I'm slightly biased because I'm a content creator. Like, every person using ad block is in some way harming me a little bit. So the revenue that I get helps me be able to pay for equipment, videos, assistance, keep the website running, game servers, and all this sort of stuff. And then, yeah, people use ad block, and that harms that income. But Brandon's going off on one now about, yeah, but 5 or 10 minute ads, 10-minute ads in a row on YouTube search. You don't get that. Or 15,000 pop-ups. You don't get that. Brandon, you're not making any sense. Yeah, Egg says, what are you talking about, Brandon? Yeah. You can skip after 5 seconds. Yeah, especially on double served ads. Yeah, so YouTube doesn't run unskippable ads longer than 30 seconds. So it's 30 seconds to check them out. Yeah. And Brandon says on mobile, I regularly get long ads as well as 4 ads in a row. I mean, you got to remember, it might be that Brandon was part of this ad testing thing that's going on at the minute to increase the number of ads to see and how people react to it. And if you're not happy with the amount of ads that's on something, just close the app. That'll tell YouTube that you don't like the ads. Also, the amount of ads you get and how skippable they are, I'm not sure, but I think depends on how much you accept ads. So Google measures how ad acceptable you are. So some people get less ads because they'll get maybe 2 ads and they'll be like, oh, I can't skip this second ad. Oh, I won't watch it. And they'll just turn off. Maybe next time they go to YouTube, they won't get that second ad, or they'll get a skippable one. Whereas Brandon gets served up a few ads. Usually I get 2 ads. The first one is unskippable. Yeah, that's true. That is what I get for the most part. And the first ad is not usually that long. And you got to remember, and we'll get into the game in a minute, you got to remember, you are using a service for free. Okay, you've got to pay somehow. Massive servers using massive amounts of power with great big quantities of hardware, people running it, and everything from the guy that's delivering the new drives to the data center, from the people that are looking after the other employees in HR. You are paying their wages and the infrastructure costs by watching those adverts. And do you think YouTube would still be there if all of a sudden nobody watched the ads and they got no ad revenue? No. The company would cripple and crumble immediately. You'd be surprised about how many people think it's their given right to have this stuff for nothing, and just like give it to me. And why are you getting in my way? Why do I have to put up with this ad? Well, I tell you why. It pays for you having the service, and that's why. And then yes, there's a good point here. 3 months of free trial of YouTube Premium. Yeah, so no ads. YouTube Premium is, I mean, it depends whether you want to pay the money, but the payout rate is actually better. So So if you, for content creators, so if you get premium, the people that you watch get more money than if it was just ads. Premium views, it's not views, I think it might be view time, but premium is definitely better than just ads. Yeah. Right, we're just about to start the game. Don't worry. Yeah, we've had the chat. The timer's gone. We're going to get on with the game. we did get into a bit of a thing there. In fact, there was a relatively good segment on the WAN show that Linus Tech Tips does. And they talk a lot about all these sorts of things. They talk about the number of... the game's loading in the background. Like the number of ads that people get served, how some people get served one things and other people don't. About like the all of these tests and a lot of that sort of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, basically, if there was no ads, there would be no YouTube. What we're doing today, we're going to be doing some Kerbal Space Program. I've got a VT, a little video to show you. I'll tell you about that. I think Brandon Karchoff was being a little bit more specific. But I will explain, and it looks like the game's nearly loaded, so I will start that explanation now. So, as a reminder, last time we did a few different things, including going down to the moon's surface to plant a flag to satisfy a mission, and then going down to Minmus to sort out the mining ship. The mining ship was overheating and being incredibly inefficient. We went down there with some supplies, fixed up the mining ship with some extra radiators, and then it was fantastic. Now the only problem we have is we need to get both of those spaceships home, and one of them we know will not survive re-entry through the atmosphere. So, we're going to sort that out. LTT also explained why premium being required to consume 4K footage is a good thing, I think. Yes, it was mentioned on the WAN show, and there was also a video about why 4K being a premium thing is good. To be honest, I'd be fine with that. I do watch 4K sometimes, not very often. Usually I'll watch it with the slow-mo guys. Some of their 4K high-speed footage is amazing. Apart from that, I don't normally watch 4K. I normally watch HD and 1440p videos on YouTube. Well, I only have a 1440 screen, so there we go. You really love my OpenTTD videos. You hope your channel grows a lot bigger. Thank you very much. I do want to grow the channel. In terms of revenue, it'd be nice if we tripled what we've got now. That would be a really good level to be, because that sort of revenue would allow me to do some of the things that I would love to do, but I can't. In terms of grow a lot bigger, not too fussed about that. We have a fantastic community. New people are always welcome. Growth is fine, but I don't have any aspirations to be a big content creator. That's not really my style. Okay, game is fully loaded. Let's jump over to it. Okay. So like I said, last time we were working on fixing the things in on Minmus, and we're going to be bringing the people home. But one thing I've done since last time. So if I switch over now to the video, I will be able to show you. So remember, this video I'm about to show you is not live, but me in the camera and the voice is live. So let's roll that VT and I'll tell you what's going on. Okay, so here we are, we're at the moon base, and remember recently I brought 3 fueling ships over to the moon base so we had enough fuel for our missions. Well, those things cost us money to send there, and I'd like to bring them back. So, this is me bringing back 2 of the fueling ships. So I made sure that they had a little bit of fuel left in them, and we departed the space station and left the moon on the way back to Kerbin. There's only one mod in this series, and that's for the joystick. Everything else is stock. Hi, Obi-Wan. So then after a prograde burn from the moon, we then got close to Kerbin. I didn't really want to do aero braking, so I like to be a little bit more controlled with that if I can. So we put ourselves retrograde, and we just do a burn to bring our orbit into a bit more circular bit of curbing. Reminder, these rockets here, these are uncrewed rockets that we use to fuel the space station at the moon. There we go. And what I was trying to do is just trying to land it. Try and land it near the Space Center. I didn't quite aim for the Space Center very well. We ended up for somewhere else. You need a mod to use the joysticks. I'm surprised at that. You don't need a mod to use the joystick, but there is a mod which flips 2 of the axes depending on whether you're using it for rockets or planes. And that's it. You can use it without the mod, but it is quite nice to flip those 2 axes, and I can explain why. It's a little bit weird. It's to do with the way that you label axis on rockets and the way it is with some other things. So here we go. Re-entry with this upper stage. It went quite well. It was tumbling down towards the surface, but of course it tumbles quite slowly because it's a large, relatively lightweight thing. There we go. So yeah, the axis of a rocket and the direction of the stick is not how you would think compared to a plane, and that's what the mod does. It switches it over. Here we are, we're using the RCS and the parachutes to gently lay it down. That wasn't a slow-mo, that was real time. And then after I did one, I did a second one. So here we go, undocking from the Moon Space Station with a little bit of RCS from the monoprop there. Same thing. This one's a little bit shorter. In fact, you can see the mod at the bottom of the screen on the far right-hand side. It's just showing us we're in rocket mode. And that's all it does. And again, back to Kerbin, re-entry through the atmosphere, belly flopping in, and then we land and again fall on our side. And I was like, I feel like we need to fix this falling on our side thing. But there we go, at least we did it gently, nothing got broken, and we recovered those. Brandon says, KSP makes me annoyed at myself sometimes because I want to launch cool rockets to mine asteroids, but my skills with rocket science can barely get an orbit. I mean, it's just practice and research and stuff. You think Scott Manley would have been proud of the RCS assisted landing? Maybe. Now, what I've done, okay, is after flying those 2, I went into the vehicle assembly building, and I've managed to fix the rocket, and we're not going to call it the Test Rocket 10 anymore. We need a proper name for it, so I want you guys to help me out with that. So I've also made one other change as well. So if we get the full stack passenger rocket and just load that up, the booster, we can ignore that. That's pretty much identical. What I've done is I've removed the section that was overheating on previous flights. It was the cargo bay. Now we do have a couple of little cargo pods down here, so if we want to carry some cargo, we can. Also, the engine wasn't fitted properly. Okay, so the reason why my rockets were never calculating and showing the delta V, and if you look in the bottom right hand corner now, it is showing 3,500 meters per second of delta V. And that's because I attached the skirt to the rocket and then shoved the engines in there. What I've done now is I got rid of the skirt, I attached the rocket engines, and then I put a beam in. There's the little beam. And the skirt is actually attached to that beam and not the bottom of the tank. Because if I attach the skirt to the bottom of the tank, it breaks the engines and the calculations. So unfortunately, I've had to add this little beam, attach the skirt to that, and then everything else, which I will now just undo, and then it's fine. Also, this. I added landing legs. Now, how effective these are, I don't know. Okay, because I've never done this. So this is our Test Rocket 10, and I think this is the final version. This is the final version of the Test Rocket 10. Okay. So, we need to give it a name. Now, if we look here, we've had previous rockets. We had, I think it was the Eagle to begin with. So if we look at the Eagle, this is the Eagle. It's just a simple little rocket with some side boost. It was very early on in our Let's Play. And it had a second stage that was quite small with a little control circuit in there. And then room to put something on the top. That was the Eagle. And by the way, we're using bird names. Then we had the Buzzard. Now this one was a bit of a mishmash. So this one, this is the Buzzard 15. I can't remember why it's... Oh yeah, it's called the Buzzard 15 because each of these main sections has 5 on. So if we ignored the side boosters, and this is like the heavy variant, there is like the main part of the Buzzard 15. So it's got a core stage, 2 side stages, and a rather large second stage there with room to put something on top. But the Buzzard 15 really wasn't that great. It just didn't do well. It was very big, very expensive, and later on, I designed the TR10, which included a booster, optional side rockets, and this second stage. And this second stage has been brilliant. The whole thing is fully reusable and doing really well. It does look a bit like the Delta Heavy. It did, yes. Brandon says, name idea for the TR10, Finch, because there's a ton of variations of them. Okay. Now the good news about this one is that we can take this top bit off and put other things on top if we want, like the fuel tank and things. But what about Raven? Because it has scary Delta V. I mean, the first stage is 1,600. And then we have an extra 1,000 after we lose the side boosters. But then you can pretty much get nearly 3,000 meters per second of Delta V to orbit. There are a lot of engines on the bottom of this one, though. I think there are 13 engines on the bottom of the booster. So we just need to name it, okay? Now, put your bird idea names in the chat. But what we're going to do is we're going to launch 2 of these rockets, put them in orbit of Kerbin, and then use them to bring our Kerbals back to the surface. So we'll come from Minmus in the rockets we've got at Minmus, round to Kerbin, rendezvous with these guys, and then use these guys to bring the passengers down, because these are passenger rated and the other ones are temporary or untested or broken. So hopefully it'll be fine. So keep your suggestions coming in. What was the Kestrel again? Good, good point, Egg. So the Kestrel is the space plane hangar. So we have the Blackbird, which was the first version. I think I can load them in here. Yeah, there we go. That was the first one we had, the Blackbird. And then we got so many different sorts of Kestrels. I think the Kestrel 4X was the kind of pinnacle of our space plane career for now. I mean, it's got landing legs, air intakes. This thing can fly on just two engines. It has 4 in case you just want to go silly fast or if something breaks. So we already have Blackbird above the line. Falcon 10. I mean, it's not a Falcon. I mean, Falcon is a bird name, but I want to stay away from real life names. I want to keep it separate. I don't want any sort of confusion between real life ones and these ones. Hawk is one option, yeah. So we've got Hawk, Finch, and Raven are the options that we've got at the moment. Should we put them on the wheel and let the wheel spin? Parrot, because the launch will be repeated for multiple rockets you're putting in orbit. I mean, that's the case for a lot of them, to be honest. And then I did actually start building the TR-11, which is just an absolutely ridiculous rocket. And it was supposed to be able to repulsively land, But the problem is that we don't have enough money to play around with this design anymore. It costs too much when it goes wrong. These engines down here are just so expensive. Like, look at the cost of this rocket. This is just the booster, and it's 200,000 credits. Yeah? 200,000 credits for just the booster. If that blows up, that's a lot of our money. Whereas the TR-10 may be smaller in tech, but it's only 100,000. It's proven to have worked, and we get most of that money back. Dodo. I don't think we should go Dodo. I mean, flightless bird. A flightless bird would be interesting. Crow. Yeah. TR-10 has become our staple ship. Like, pretty much everything we've done recently has been a variation of the TR-10. You know what, Brandon? I'm going to go with your suggestion. Thank you for all of your suggestions in chat, but I've been thinking about it, and you know what? This is going to be the Finch. Passenger variant. And before we do any more than that, let's go into the naming conventions of these. So this guy is going to have... it's just going to be a ship. And it's going to be called Finch. And we'll put that as priority 11 and accept that. And if we go down through the stack, not that far... There we go. Configure the naming of this one. And this one is a ship as well. Oh no, it's a probe. And we'll call this Finch Booster. And with a priority of 10. So when the whole thing goes up, it'll be called Finch. And when it separates, we'll have Finch Booster and Finch. Yeah, TR stands for test rocket. So what we're doing today is we are now saying... This is no longer a test rocket. We've run enough missions with this, changed it enough. We know it works. We know it's all good. And this is now the Finch. There we go. So now I can delete full stack passenger. This is Finch passenger. And if I make modifications, I will save it as Finch fuel, Finch this, Finch that. But there we go. So now we need 2 of these in orbit. Let's do that. Let's just check there's nobody on board. Nope, there are people on board. We don't want people on board. We're going to be bringing people back. So action button 1, that's the solar panels. Action button 2 is the nose cone. And action button 3 is the legs. It's Finch because it had a lot of evolution. It has had a lot of evolution over the years. Like it's, over the episodes, it's had lots of different changes. At one point, the flaps could be rotated by 90 degrees. We don't do that anymore. So this is going to actually be the first proper flight of the rocket with it not being called a test rocket. There we go. The boosters are a bit floppy. It's probably fine. So, actually, we don't need boosters. Let's just go back to the vehicle assembly building. The reason why I use revert there, it just loads quicker than going through 2 menus. Because we're only going to orbit and we're not going any further, and then we're going to be coming back down again, we don't need the side boosters for this. So the side boosters are optional. There we go. Right then, let's get this lined up and ready to go. We've got to connect this in space. So if I press this button at the back here, that turns the SAS on. If we throttle up to maximum, that's all good there. You can see that the delta V is now being calculated properly. This is technically the Finch's maiden voyage, but we've used this rocket a few times. I think this is the first time I've flown it with these landing legs though. I think. That's 2 tons of landing legs there. But here we go. Full throttle there, and staging looks good. What's that one? Oh, that's for the booster. Here we go. There we are. So, 2 tons, what are they made of? They're half a ton each, these great big metal landing legs. Alligator hinges. But we did remove a cargo bay, and I can't remember if there was any other things. Probably steel. Or the Kerbal equivalent of steel. No sound? Okay, I'll fix that. That is Streamlabs desktop being bad again. There you go. Right, we've gone past 300 meters per second. We're up past 9 kilometers. We're going to start our turn. We need a turn. We need to turn a little bit more than that. Oh, not that much. Not that much. About there. About there. That's good. Try and keep it stable. It's not been very stable. I think it's because it's not used to having the side boosters, or maybe I'm just being terrible with the joystick. Okay, let's have a quick look at the map. What's the situation here? It's not the best. I think we might lose the booster. I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know. There's this thing in Kerbal Space Program where... let me just do the separation and stuff. Hang on a second. So we separate, activate the engine, throttle up, and point ourselves sideways, because I'm sure we're going far enough now. Try and keep it as level as possible, because we're going to be doing some rendezvous. So there's this thing in Kerbal Space Program where if you're in the atmosphere and you're further than a certain distance away, other objects just get deleted. So we don't really want that to happen with the booster. So hopefully by the time we get far enough out, everything will be fine. It'll splash down. The booster always splashes down. It either does so nicely or not nicely. And you can see that the naming convention has worked. So this is the our Finch here, and this is the Finch booster at the back. We could call this Finch second stage or Finch ship or something. So you got Finch ship and then Finch booster. Could do. Let's just check what's happening on the map. Okay, overall we're doing alright. Still got 3,000 meters of Delta V, so we'll probably be bringing back a good deal amount of this fuel that we've gone up with. In fact, that might be a good idea, is just not to take as much fuel up with us. Alright, we don't want to go any further higher than about 90 to 100 kilometers, so I'm just adjusting our trajectory of burning. There we go, we're fine. We don't want the Finch booster to drop below 70 kilometers before we switch to it. So if it drops beneath 70 kilometers, it will probably get deleted. So we have to push our Finch ship out far enough. But I think we're doing okay. It's just the booster has just gone past apogee, and it looks like we might even... Yeah, we're going to make orbit. Getting ready with the power here. At least I'm pretty sure we're going to make orbit. Okay, we've almost made an orbit. We'll just need to straighten that out. Let's switch to the booster. And we'll say, okay, let's prograde you. So the only thing I need to do with this one is open the chutes. And it's going to take a little bit of time, so we'll fast forward. So the reason why we go prograde is to point the head into the atmosphere. And it actually does a flip maneuver once it hits the atmosphere. And that is part of it slowing down. So the swing there and the swing back again, that helps slows it down significantly enough that it means that the engines can take the heating. The boosters have a receiver, yes. The boosters have a controller in the top there. It is essentially a flying probe. We're going way too fast for drogue shoots at the moment, but we're slowing down terribly good. We have plenty of electric charge. It is dark. I'm getting ready. Okay, we're slow enough for drogue shoots. So I'm going to do drogue shoots at 2000. There we go. And there's the normal shoots coming out there now as well. So yes, there is a probe control in the top. There we go. You can't see it because of the chutes. Currently wondering if it's actually possible to fly a plane into space in Kerbal Space Program. As long as you're not relying on jet engines, yeah, you can do it. I don't get the purpose of drogue shoots, says Brandon. Okay. Basically, drogue shoots are smaller with less surface area, and you can see that they're smaller, and they can be deployed at faster velocities. So drogue shoots can be used to slow the craft down to a speed where the main shoots can be deployed. Also, I think in some spaceships you can actually use the drogue shoots to then pull out the main shoots as well. Yes, basically main shoots need to be massive enough to slowly land the craft, but at no point falling through the atmosphere are you falling slow enough for those main shoots to be able to cope with that. So yes. So you deploy the drogue shoots, which are like a midway solution. They can open enough at high enough speeds to slow you down a bit, slow enough for the main shoots. So there we go. We got all the money back from that booster apart from the fuel. And then if we go to our Finch, we can just finish off circularizing the orbit. And then we need to park another one because we've got 2 lots of people heading back to the planet. So I'm just going to warp to here. And we're going to... let's go back into map mode. I'm going to add the maneuver nodes here. So I want to get us roughly going around at the same position as the space station. We do have lots of monopropellant, but we might need that for docking, so I'm not going to use it. So gently pushing us out. I want us to try and get to... Oh, we've got a wonky orbit. I've just noticed that. That's not good. I'll have to fix that. So I'm going to get us going around at 100, 100. There we go, 100, 100. Well, that's 100 on one side. We need to go clockwise looking from this way. So let's go to the anti-normal and warp round to where we want to do it to try and fix that orbit. Basically, if we're going to be docking, we need to be in a relatively stable orbit. So, just waiting for the craft to finish rotating. There we are. You can see it's pointing downwards, which will twist our orbit. This is quite heavy on fuel. Okay, you don't want to do this unless you have to. But we really need to, and we've got lots of fuel. And then we're going to warp to our periapsis, go retrograde, and that will get us nice and circular. Lucky Kerbals are immune to G-forces. Yeah. Just a reminder, there are no Kerbals on board these particular ones at the moment. And there we go. A 100-100 orbit around Kerbin. And now we've just got to do that one more time to bring a second craft up so we can get everybody home. Each one of these only carries 2 Kerbals, you see. Unfortunately. None of the 3 Kerbal crafty bits really seem like they would fit well on this. So, let's go back down to the tracking station. Get a second one up nice and quickly. And then we'll go and see how they're doing over on Minmus. And try and get them back. Now, hang on, we don't want to be at the tracking station. Oh, I've got a message. Okay. Here we go. So let's just open up our Finch, and because we're only going to orbit and back down again, we can remove the side boosters and make sure there's nobody on board. Nudger and Sixer really want to get on board this, don't they? They really do. Right, before we launch that, let's do a game giveaway. Let's do a giveaway for Monaco. If you want to enter the giveaway, go to giveaway.masterhellish.net to enter. All you have to be is logged into the website and have an account, and then you'll be able to enter that giveaway. Right, it's night time. Should we just wait until morning? Let's wait until morning. I'll just fast forward, and there's the moon. If you don't have an account on my website yet, doing so is free. So just set yourself up and enter the giveaway. There we go. Right, SAS on, throttle to maximum, 3, 2, 1, off we go. So I think I'm going to start my gravity turn a little bit later this time. I think I got a little bit too trigger happy last time. I'm not actually putting any pressure on this just now. If anything, what we might do is throttle down a little bit. Brandon says it's a decent game. Well, go on then, everybody. Get entered into that game giveaway. Now, the craft is fighting a little bit of wobble, but it's not doing too bad. We're up to 260 meters per second. I'm just throttling down a little bit. If you go too fast in the lower atmosphere, you get too much drag on the rocket. But also, the longer you spend in the lower parts of the atmosphere, the more burning you've got to do of fuel. It's free and you don't get spammed with emails, always a bonus. Yeah, at the moment, the only reason you get emails from the website is about your account. So like if you want to reset your password or if you win a game giveaway. It's like actual reasons. I am considering having an optional extra sign up that people can do, which will allow them to sign up for like an email newsletter, like maybe once a week. Just say, here's all the streams and videos that have come out and all of this sort of stuff. Yeah, or if you subscribe to Viewer Plus, which, you know, if you can afford it, you should really do. There's lots of fantastic benefits, all listed on the website, and it's the way to support me in the channel. 46 people, supporters, and we're doing... Oh my goodness, we're staging. We need to stage. Okay, here we go. Throttles ran out. Press the button. There we go. Press that one, and rotate craft. There we go. Let's have a look at the situation here. Yeah, that's okay. Something that I forgot to do with the other Finch is I forgot to open the solar panels. But it's in orbit now. If we can get a Kerbal on board, we can use that to do stuff. Yeah, account, recovery, confirmations, all that sort of good stuff. Of course you're going to get those emails. They're necessary. There's no other way around it. So now we're out of the atmosphere. I can press the button to open up the comms and solar panels. There we go. I mean, I could press the button to open up the nose cone, but that seems like a bad idea at the moment. Okay. So our second one is going well. What we got here? So, yeah, our orbit's going nice. The booster is just getting into space now. There we go. See if we can make a nice, neat orbit. Might be a good idea to display the Viewer Plus screen when you're on the ground. Yes, don't fly in rockets and doing Viewer Plus screens at the same time. Not a good idea, eh? Maybe what I should do is make a mini video about Viewer Plus and use that and just play it at appropriate points. Just like maybe a 20-second video thing. This one's actually dropping down a little bit, but I'm pretty sure we're going to make a good orbit. Yeah, like an ad. Because we don't have sponsors. I don't do sponsorship. I have had emails from companies that want to do sponsorships. Let's stop the power there because otherwise our orbit's going to get a bit wonky. It's much better aligned on its inclination this time. Okay, quickly, let's switch to the booster. Recover that. So yeah, like I don't have sponsorships. I would only ever do a sponsorship if it's something that I genuinely believe in and like. For example, I like Kerbal Space Program, and if the makers of Kerbal Space Program 2 said, if you do a live stream of KSP 2 for 2 hours, we will give you this money, I would go, yes. I would be happy to do that. You know why? Because I would be happy to promote Kerbal Space Program anyway, because I believe it is a good game. I wouldn't do it for Super Special Golf Tour 2038 or whatever, because, I mean, unless it is an amazing game and I get hooked on it, then yeah, maybe I would. But what I'm saying is it's not what I'm interested in. It's not what I'm... So, yeah, I will probably never end up doing any sort of sponsorships. Yeah, I mean, if it was a game that I would play and it was like on the edge of my peripheral vision, it's like, oh, I might like to do that sometimes. I think I would like that game. And then they turn around and ask for a sponsorship, then I would, I would have a look and go, and I'd assess it. But I'm not going to take all these money-grabbing loot crate mobile games and all the other things that I get emails about. It's not good. They're not good. Also, Halish, if you do a newsletter thing, I think that would be counted as a marketing email. To comply with law, you'll have to have it unchecked by default. Yes. So it would be an opt-in thing. It would definitely be an opt-in email that came round, the newsletter. Opt-in newsletter. Nobody would get the newsletter unless you went to the page and clicked the button to get the newsletter. I just realised we were watching this in real time and waiting. Here we go. There we go. There's the drogue chute slowing us down from whatever it was down to about 80 meters per second. And there's the side chutes. I mean, there's the main chutes. I've probably got too many parachutes on this, but to be honest, these engines are quite valuable. It's quite nice to recover all of these. I don't think I've actually mentioned any of the sponsorships that I've had offers of, because I don't think it's even worth mentioning. Every now and then I get an email about a game that somebody wants me to have a look at, and very often they'll offer me a copy of the game for free, and there won't be any money. It'll be, here's a free game if you want to have a look at it, and they tend to give you a bit of information. And very often I'll go to the Viewer Plus subscribers and I will post the main body of that email and say, hey, these people have contacted me. In fact, I did it today, and just say to the Viewer Plus subscribers, what do you think? Is this something you think we would be interested in? Not always is, but there we go. So we recovered that booster and we got pretty much 40 grand back. Bearing in mind this entire rocket cost less than 100,000. We've recovered the booster and got 40 grand back. We haven't even recovered the second stage. Oh yeah, so Espresso Simulator underwater thing. Yes, that's the one we had today. That was so random. Maybe if I was like the kind of person who likes to spend time at coffee shops, then I might give it a go. But to be honest, I don't drink coffee. I never have drunk coffee. I don't think I've ever tasted coffee. My only interaction with coffee has been the coffee which is inside as an ingredient for other things like tiramisu. There we go. I've extended the solar panels on the first Finch there, so we're all right. Yeah, very often I do get a relatively good message from the developers. They will introduce the game, often give me a free copy of the game via Steam. Then they will tell you a quick little bit about it, when it's going to be released. And yeah, that's usually what the situation is. And sometimes, like, oh god, what was it? There was that one that was that underground train station thing. I really enjoyed that one. That one was an email that came through, I think. I'm not sure, Railroute was an email that came through from the developers. Right, let's get this orbit finished off, because it's not actually a proper orbit yet, it's suborbital. Yeah, I don't know about coffee. I don't know if I should start drinking coffee now. I don't think I should. It's like, if I'm not drinking coffee, maybe... Are we burning prograde? Yes, we are. There we go. That looks more or less right. We just need to twist the orbit slightly to get it nice and neat. Overcrowd. Yes, Jackamak, that's right. That underground game was Overcrowd. I don't know how much is on Steam. I think I'm burning the wrong way there. Yep, I'm burning the wrong way. But if it's not very expensive, that's the sort of game that'd be like, yeah. If you're looking for a game to pick up, which is like in that sort of genre, it's one of the ones I would recommend. There we go. Here we go. There we go. What we got? We've got 105 and 96. You know what? I was going to say that's close enough, but let's get rid of that 5. May as well, if we're doing this, we do it properly. So we've got the space station going round and 2 finches. There we go. That'll do. That'll do. F5, quick save in case of Kraken. That was a channel takeover? Yeah. I don't know if I did having a crack of that before doing the channel takeover. So there we go. Do you like games like Train Simulator? Ones where you control them, or do you prefer like railroads more? What, like OpenTTD? I prefer the simulation style ones, like the strategy simulation style. So the higher up view. That's not because I've got some sort of god complex. I do enjoy games like Train Simulator. I went to a little LAN party at somebody's house. The game had just come out in some sort of alpha or something. I got the game. I played it for 2 hours. I was this close to completing the first mission. It crashed. Never played it again. So there we go. All right, let's go back to the tracking station, because now we've got our 2 finches in orbit. It's time to bring our Kerbals home. And once they're home, we can go and see what else there is to do. Actually, before we come home, do you think we ought to check? We ought to check what missions there are, shouldn't we? Definitely check that. I've got a message. What's going on? Okay. Right. My daughter isn't here tomorrow. And I've got to look after her Tamagotchi. I did a video on Train Sim World, apparently. Probably. If you go onto my website, you go to masterhellish.net, at the top there is a link to playlists. And you can just look down that playlist and you can see all the different things I've done. If you want to, go to the Having a Crack playlist, because that is an assortment of all sorts of things that I've had a go at over the years, and I clicked on the wrong facility there. VR train game. Interesting. I mean, Train Simulator, that would be a kind of game I might try, but then, like, I've got VR. Right, what have we got active at the minute? Oh my goodness, all sorts. Oh yeah, that's right. We had problems with the surface stuff on Minmus. So I guess 2 of them we're going to have to do. Surface deploys seismic sensor sites on the surface of the moon. I think we have that, don't we? Okay, let's get this all back. Get our scientists back. And then I think that's it. Unless we can we We can only have 7 contracts. Can we upgrade? Ooh. I don't think 282,000 is really worth it when we've got 700 in the bank. Minmus doesn't have any weird bouncy trees to scan. Oh, yeah. Right, so there's the TR-10 second stage in orbit. There's the TR-10 second stage landed. And then there's the Digger lander. And those two are right next to each other. So let's go to them now. I pressed the wrong button again. What is wrong with me tonight? I've had too many cherry liqueurs, obviously. Fly. There we are. If you have a specific game that you think I should check out, go to the forum on the Discord, the general forum, post it with the ideas tag. Okay, here we go. We've got Brandon and Jesse on the planet. We've got all sorts of things going down there. We've got the other craft over there. This one, we don't know how many meters of Delta V it's got, but it's half full of fuel. And we can't refuel on the surface with the other one anyway, so we're just going to have to go up into orbit. And I want to go up towards the right. Oh, we're going to wait until the daytime. I'm not taking off when we're in the dark. What's that over there? Oh, there's a flag over there. 478 meters away. There we go. There's the sunrise. We can see all the rubbish that's been left lying around on the ground. So this is the one that's broken, and it's also got the storage unit which breaks, like falls apart completely. So we'll do a rendezvous. So let's just check the nozzle directions. Or is it flaps? So if I do go to the right... Whoa! It's actually leaning. Okay, don't want that to happen. So if we go to the right... It's trying to lean the wrong way. Let's rotate it. It's what the reaction wheels do. Not sure this one's really leaning the right way. Okay, I think that's right. I'm not sure. Oh well, never mind. Let's go up, get into orbit. Sorry, I just hit the microphone. And then we'll try and go back. We might dock and share fuel, because this one over here hasn't got a massive amount of fuel with it. I don't know if we can dock. I don't know if it'll fit. Might do. We'll have a look at it. You thought we was in space? Oh, it's because it was so dark, wasn't it? Right. Let's get the stick on the screen. We also need to turn that engine on. So let's look up the skirt. Activate the engine. Right. Brandon, Jesse, let's get you back into orbit. Okay. There we go. So it looks like this way is the way we want to go. Roughly. There we go. Head roughly towards the sun. It's a good way of doing it. There we go. Right, we can get the landing legs back in. Turn the lights off. These landing legs, actually, we didn't take off with them. We stole them from the lander at the moon at the moon space station. So we probably need to put that back. What's that? Oh, it's the TR-10 second stage floating in space. I don't want to use up too much Delta V to pick that up. Oh, steady on. We've gone too high. Right. Let's warp to the top of that. There we go. And then we'll just prograde it out to actually get an orbit. It's not a great orbit, but it's an orbit. We're not going to crash into anything. Then we'll go back down and we'll switch to the lander. Should we do them both roughly at the same time? Let's see what the situation here is. This one's got 288 meters per second of delta V. Don't think that's going to be enough. Let's have a look at the delta V maps. So Minmus, to get home, it's about 340 to get a circular orbit around Kerbin. Yeah, we're going to have to dock up with them somehow. And refuel the tank. Okay. Let's turn both. I think both engines are on. So I suppose we could. This one we could dock with the space station, couldn't we? And take the fuel from there. Let's just check the space station. Where is the space station? There's the space station. Let's switch to that temporarily. Make sure we just launch in the right direction. Here we go. Oh, it looks like it's out of fuel. Oh no, there is some fuel. But the fuel is in the lander. That's fine, we can nick it from the lander. Only game I know where towards the sun is a direction. To be honest, in Minecraft... if you know if the sun is going up or down, then that gives you a direction. Should we dock with the space station? Shall we dock with the space station? Let's dock with the space station and nick its fuel. Right, where is the lander? There's the lander. Let's switch to that. We're not going to steal fuel from the TR10 second stage. Don't think that's a good idea. Right then, so here we go. We're going to do a gentle blast off and we're going to be going this way. So the opposite way to before. Legs in. Hang on a minute. I just turned RCS on by accident. There we are, legs in. Right now, which way are we going here? So, that way? I'm going to be heading this way. Oh, there we go. This way. And I don't want to overcook it. So let's just check in the map. I mean, it's tiny at the moment, but let's increase that throttle. Now we know we're pointing in the right direction. Oh, that's right. We turned the engines down, didn't we, to 25%. So this grey line here is where the space station orbits. There. So now if we warp to here, and we probably ought to also unlimit these engines so that we can do quick adjustments. I wonder if we're going to actually get really close to the space station at this rate. Okay. Let's push our orbit up to the grey line. The space station is catching up with us. I don't know if it's going to... I don't think it's going to catch up enough. So just push the orbit out a little bit. It is a bit wonky. We actually could set the space station as our target. Oh, we're nearly out of fuel. Oh my goodness, I only just noticed that. Wow. That's not good. That took a lot more delta V to take off than I thought. And the space station's all the way down there. Maybe we need to bring one of the new rockets here to refuel. Yeah, I think we do. Let's do that. So these let's just sort its orbit out. So it's going at 15. If we get round, warp here, and we just make it nice and neat orbit. I think orbiting at roughly 15 is going to be fine. There we go. 21. I think that'll do. Good idea to bring TR10. The TR10's going the other way around the planet, so we can't use that. We've got TR10 second stage there and there. One of them has Kerbals in it. One of them doesn't. But at least we can park ourselves in orbit. Oh, hang on. There we go. We want to burn relative to the orbit, not the target. There we go. We're out of fuel. That's fine. It's not a problem. Right, let's switch this TR10 second stage. Find out which one it is. Obi-Wan's got to go. Okay, see you. Thanks for coming by. So this is the one with our Kerbals on. This is the one we're actually going to fly back to Kerbal. We don't know how much delta V it's got. But let's give it a go. We're going to try and get... let's warp to this position here. So this is the one with Brandon and Jesse on. There we go. Prograde. And if we burn prograde to the orbit from the side closest to Kerbin, hopefully we can get back. Unfortunately, it looks like our orbit has quite a big inclination there. It's all twisted. But here we go. Hopefully we're not going to use too much fuel. There's a escape of Minmus. And there's our periapsis getting closer to Kerbin. Ideally we want to get that not within the 1 million range, but within the 100,000. 103, 101. Oh, there we go, 100. Now we just need to make sure we don't run out of fuel. If we're going to run out of fuel, what we can do is go around again and just dip ourselves into the atmosphere. That will mean that we're never going to get stuck there. Just a reminder, we do have a game giveaway going. If you want to be within a chance of winning Monaco, go to entry.masterhellish.net and you will be able to have a look at that and enter the giveaway. Now look at that, we have a massive twist on our orbit there, which is not good at all. Maybe we should try and fix that now. So we want it to go that way around, which is clockwise. So we go to anti-normal. We'll try and see if we can get that fixed. Let's see what happens. Nope, that doesn't seem to be doing anything that I want it to. If anything, that's making things worse. What about radial? I don't think that's going to work. Okay, let's go to our periapsis and do a retrograde burn to bring ourselves into at least a closer orbit, so we're not going to hit the moon. There we go. We actually had an intercept with the moon there. Still haven't got a reading on the delta V of this older variant. This is still a TR10. It's not the new ones. There we go. Yeah, we're going to have to de-twist this orbit at some point. Looks like we're going to have enough fuel to get into a stable orbit, and we want to get in with one of these Finches. So I guess we could go here and try and fix the orbit. So we want it to go anti-clockwise, so let's hit the normal. Just stick an engine to the moon and land it. Scott Manley actually did a video. I think he did a video exactly on that subject. There we go. I don't know if this is going to be taking up too much fuel to make it perfect. But if we can get it close, then we can get the Finch close, and then we'll be alright. Actually, if we set the Finch as a target, say this one, it will tell us at our descending node what the angle difference is. So if we click that, it says -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and close. There we are. Less than half a degree. And then what we can do is we can do a retrograde burn to bring our periapsis in line. Flatten it out at AP or PE. That should work. Yes, that's what we're doing. We just did it at AP. And that's where your descending node probably would be. So now let's just bring our periapsis in just a little bit. There we go. And what we'll do is we'll use the last of our fuel to bring the apophis. I can never say that one properly. The other side in, and then we'll switch to the other craft. So here we go. We'll even use the monopropellant maybe. Okay, here we go. So then retrograde that until we're out of fuel. And then we'll dock up. Although we might actually want to leave it like that, because where's our target? Yeah, our target's going to be catching up with us. So if we fast forward, you can see that these two orange markers are getting closer to each other with every... Oh, we're actually going to be pretty close. One more orbit. Here we go. Yeah, look. Next orbit, we have a 4-kilometer intersect. Fantastic. Apoapis. Apoapis. That doesn't roll off the tongue right. The apple one. Yes, we're going to just call it apple now. Apple juice. Oh, I could do with some apple juice. Hang on. First person camera going. I don't know where this one's going to go. Oh, it's turning left. And it's onto the roundabout bit and going into the first lane, up and onto the highway. There we go. It's going into the second lane here to hopefully overtake this truck. Oh, third lane. Wow, another truck overtook that. I don't think it's going to be turning off here. Nope, not going to be turning off. Look at all the vehicles dodging around on the outside there. What on earth was I doing with this? Oh my goodness. Was this a failure of me to... Oh, I have no idea what's going on with this. I don't remember that. This is a TR-10 second stage with a land tug and the space station tug. Right. I got some apple juice. It's a bit of a little treat in the evening. I don't normally have this sort of drink in the evening. Sometimes I'll have some sort of fruit juice-based drink at breakfast time. Not always, sometimes. I just really fancied it. So there we go. It's nice and cool as well. Right then, let's jump back into the game. And as you can see, we're starting to get close. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around here. But if we now point ourselves retrograde relative... Oh, there it is. It's over there, relative to it. And throttle up. Try and null out our relative velocities. And then we will do the point at it and get there closer thing. In theory, we could probably just jetpack over rather than docking. What do you... I'm going to let chat decide. Shout out in chat either spacewalk or dock. So if you want me to dock the two craft and transfer the Kerbals, say dock. If you want me to get close and then do a spacewalk between the two, say spacewalk. Oh my goodness, I just realised how fast I made them go towards each other then. It's a bit of a shame that we're bringing these landing legs back with us when we kind of need them. Brandon says dock. Okay, that's one vote for dock. Oh wow. Disneyland says dock as well. I mean, we have got plenty of monopropellant. Give me a challenge. I did lots of docking. I just thought because I've done lots of docking in the previous live streams that you might want something different. So I thought I'd give you the... Okay, I get it, everybody. Mike, everybody's saying dock, yes. Fine. I will dock the two craft together to finish the maneuver. There we go. Right. So our lever is broken. There we go. Look, we've got no nose cone, but I need to dock the two craft together. So what I'll do is I will point us at the target, wherever that might be. There we go. So this is a broken test rocket, and that one is the new one that should be amazing at re-entering. Oh, how did the other engines turn on? There we are. Let's turn them off. There we go. So we're just pointing that rocket at that one. And we're going to switch over to this one. We're going to open the nose cone. Reveal the docking port, and we'll do a control from here. And where's the other one gone? Hello? Oh, there they are. They're over there. We'll set that as the target. And just rotate around towards it. And hopefully we can get these two things to dock quite nicely. So I'm just going to have this one pointing in the general direction. This is the one with all the fuel on it. The other one's pretty much run out. This is the one that's pretty much run out. And I'm going to just point at it a little bit more. Then we'll use our main engines to head towards it at about 5. Shut down. Go into docking mode. Turn RCS on. There we go. Oh my goodness. We're going too fast. We're going too fast. Oh my... No. No. There we go. I fixed it. Oh my goodness. That did not go well. I think the controls are backwards. Right, I'm just going to line it up by eye to start off with. And then I'll use the nav ball when we get closer. You need to send up a ship that's just spare parts that you can take off and stick to other crafts. These ships have compartments on them, so that you can kind of do that. So this rocker, I haven't spoke about it much, but there's a rocker on the back of this lever, and that does like the other motion. So I'm going to get these to go towards each other at 1 meter per second. And it looks like we're doing okay at the moment. We're not far apart from each other. Bit wonky. I think I've got it. Let's give that a blast forward. Oh, no, we're just slightly off. Oh, I didn't turn the lights on, did I? There we go. We can see what we're doing now. Right, I'm gonna do this one by eye, I think. Yeah, that's better. How are we doing on monopropellant? Oh, we got loads. We've got loads of monopropellant. I'm using the tiny little joystick on the top of the joystick. I mean, we did come in a bit fast. How's that looking? Much better. There we are. I mean, we're in the dark now. So we can transfer the Kerbals across. Jeb's like, why do we have 45 landing legs on this ship? Because they keep falling off. They don't keep falling off. Right, so then we've got this can with nobody in. And then this can with our Kerbals in. And we're going to do a transfer crew. We're going to transfer Brandon into here. And then we'll go back to here, transfer crew, transfer Jesse into there. There we go. Then we do an undock. And there we go. We can turn the lights of this one on so that they're both lit up. And we can close the nose cone. This might actually cause us to spin a little bit or knock the other aircraft, the other spacecraft. There we go. I don't know if that's got SAS turned on, so I don't know if it's just going to rotate forever now. There we go. And now, hopefully, we can bring these two back safe. You want to make a modular spaceship station in Space Engineers? That is an interesting thing to do. Right, we'll leave... Which one should we bring back first, chat? Should we bring back the empty one that we think will explode, or the one with the Kerbals in? Let me know which one you think we should bring back first. Which one should we deorbit first? The broken one, or the one with the Kerbals in? That's a good docking. I enjoyed that, actually. The explodey one. I mean the empty one, says Brandon. Alright. We'll leave these guys in orbit. They've got, if we come out of docking mode, they've got a relatively nice orbit, similar to the space station. So let's switch to this craft that's tumbling through the air. And we'll turn its SAS on. I hope it's got enough fuel left to deorbit. I think it has. We're slowly tumbling away from the other rocket. Empty first. Okay. That's 2 calls for the empty one. That's what we'll do. We'll go retrograde. So we're telling the onboard probe to rotate the craft into a retrograde position. And we're going to try and get it to come down close to the actual landing site, which I've lost. Is that it? That's it there, in the Space Center. So, if the Space Center's there, where are we? Are we over here? Let's go... let's warp to here. Looks like we would come down on the sunny side. We ideally just want to land in the water. Let's go to about there and see how close that gets us. Dock them back together again. Send the empty one first. If it blows up, that's okay. We are not sending them back in together. One of them is a massive liability and the other one has Kerbals on board. So here we go. I think we're in the right position. So we're in a retrograde position. Let's make sure we've got one of those engines turned on. There we go. And let's see if it's enough to bring our... Oh, yeah, it's plenty of fuel left. There we go. Right. We're coming in. Let's see. Electrical... Oh, look, there goes the Finch with Brandon and... I think was it Jesse on board? Zooming away. So let's now get this one in a radial position. We can close that nose cone, however, whatever button that is. It's 2. Yeah, there we go. Make sure the lights are turned off. Rotate it so it's belly first. I mean, we are going to try and bring it in, but the odds are some of it's going to explode. We'll see. You want eggs? I had eggs yesterday. I had them in bagels because I ordered bread buns on the shopping list and it came with a substitute and it gave me bagels instead. Right then, what are we at now? We are still high up in the atmosphere. Let's go until we hit the edge. There's the space center, so we've overshot already. So we should have come lower down in our orbit before. This is where we should be hitting the atmosphere, but further back when I started this. Never mind. And our solar panels are fully charged up, so let's retract them now. Otherwise, they will get burnt off. There we go. Right then, time for things to get warm and toasty. Shopping is getting expensive. Some of the substitutes are crazy, especially if you deliberately get a substitute. Like, for example, you get some gluten-free bread and then they give you normal bread. And it's like, I asked for gluten-free for a reason, sort of thing. Here we go, folks. Let's see if this makes the re-entry. Or whether it explodes like our test did. Apparently, this middle section here can only withstand temperatures of 1,600, where the rest of the craft is 2,000. It looks like it might actually survive. There you go. It survived the worst part of the heating. Now we need to just wait for it to fall back down through the atmosphere. We are slightly wonky on that belly flop. Whoa, steady. And once we get to a certain point, it will tumble. It's mostly tumbling because it becomes unstable at this point because it's got a heavy bottom and a heavy end, and I don't know if it knows which way it wants to do it. But for the most part, we're relatively gliding. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, bottom down is not good. There we are. The electrical charge is going. We need to make sure we deploy landing legs and parachutes before that electrical charge all goes. Let's get those parachutes out. We're losing a lot. Let's turn the SAS off. There we go. Excuse me. Brandon says, why is the upper atmosphere the one that causes the most heat? Surely the friction from the lower atmosphere would cause more heat. So heating isn't just due to friction. Heating is also done due to pressure, and pressure waves due to kind of the atmosphere pressure against it. There's a whole load of complexity to that. But if you wanted to simplify it and then speak about that part of it, you're going faster in the upper atmosphere. So at the very top, the atmosphere, you're right, is extremely thin, but you're going at ridiculous speeds. Okay, you're going at like 2 or 3 kilometers a second. Once you get to the lower atmosphere down here, you've slowed below a kilometer a second. And I believe like the friction and the kind of pressure and all that sort of stuff, it might even be related to the square of your velocity in some place in the calculations. So the faster you go, the much worse it is. Anywho, we are not far from landing now. Looks like our electrical charge is just going to hold off enough, and I think we're going to have to enable SAS and RCS for the landing in case it tips over. Bear in mind, folks, this is the one I thought would explode. Somehow it's managed to land without exploding. It is going to fall over slowly, and it's going to fall on its flaps. There we go. Right, let's recover that. No boom time. I'm sorry, Michael. Maybe later in the stream we'll do something a bit more risky. Now the problem is... we had two spacecraft, and I said one of them would explode and one of them wouldn't. And the one that I thought wouldn't is still up there, and the one that I thought would didn't. Yes. So, if you can see here that we got around 30 grand for returning that spaceship. So you remember, when we send one of these rockets up, it costs 100,000. When we recover a booster, we get 40. And when we recover a second stage, we get 30. So, you know, we're recovering 70% of the cost of these rockets every time we fly them and recover them like this. Well, you say that, Egg, but you got to remember Brandon's on board. I don't know which Finch it is, because they're both called Finch. One's empty, waiting for the other person. How long is the stream planned to last? Streams usually are between 2 and 3 hours, depending on how tired I am and other things. Here we go. Jesse Kaboom. Oh no, it's got somebody on board with Kaboom in their name. Right, I'm sure we can do it. Okay, this is going to be a little bit heavier because of the amount of fuel that's on board. But it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's a lot of fuel on board, actually. Is it worth burning off some fuel? Nah, I don't think so. Right, first thing we're going to do is we are going to lower the orbit. So at the moment, we are travelling at around 96 kilometres. I want to bring that closer to 80. So let's do a retrograde burn. It is an unfortunate name for a Kerbinaut, isn't it? Hashtag blame Brandon. To be honest though, Brandon isn't flying this one. 90. 85. And there's about 80. So one of the reason why I'm bringing the orbit down is because that just reduces the amount of speed that we go into the atmosphere. But you can see we're currently going at 2.3 kilometers a second in orbit. Okay, here we go. So we're bringing this one down from 100 down to about 80. And you can see we're now doing pretty much the same speed. So that was... No, not rest in peace, right? I am relatively confident that this is going to be fine. Remember, this is an improved version of the one we just landed. It is a little bit heavier, but that should be fine. Right. The space station is there. We're here. That is an overshoot, if ever I saw one. I want to land in the light, and I want to try and land in that water. So... Let's time warp until the space center is back in the sunlight, which it is there now. And I'm going to do it warp to there. Just past 9 o'clock. So we've got the space center at 3 o'clock at the bottom of the screen. Is it 3 o'clock? No, 6 o'clock. Silly me. At the bottom of the screen. And then we're up here. So I'm just going to go just past 9 o'clock there, get ourselves retrograde, and then do a burn. So our periapsis is down to 0. Maybe not quite 0. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there at 35k. That just feels right. Looks like Kerbin's orbiting the ship. Well, in some ways it is, isn't it? Right, let's get ourselves ready for re-entry. So the first thing we're going to do is get ourselves in a bit more of a radial position. That's how we belly flop in. Brandon and Jesse seem to be very happy about this. We're going to fast forward until we are dropping out of space. Then we're going to use our joystick to rotate the craft. Get the right side facing in the correct direction. There we go. That is correct. That is correct. And we want to retract the solar panels at the last possible minute, really. Just so that we're keeping everything on board. Now, I just want to test... Is it option 3 for the legs? Yes. Okay, so landing legs are 3. Nose cone is 2. And the solar panels and antenna are 1. Okay. So we've got a couple of kilometers to go before we have to worry about the solar panels, I think. Okay, I'm going to retract the solar panels now. There we go. I do actually have some buttons on my joystick where I may be able to control these sorts of things. There's a number 3 here. There's a 2 at the back. This is 1. 1 is staged, so I won't press that because that'll deploy the chutes right away. But I don't know if they're bound correctly, so I'm not going to use them right now. Okay, here we go, folks. A slightly heavy rocket, second stage, coming back in with 2 Kerbals. Space chutes. The parachutes won't deploy. They only deploy once they hit limits. So there's a minimum altitude, I think, that they'll deploy at. And there's a minimum pressure that they will deploy at as well. And you can adjust them. So in theory, I could deploy the chutes now and just let it fall to the surface. And the chutes will open up at the right time. But I like to control. There we go. That's it. That's us now on our final entry. We are definitely coming in. There's the space center beneath us, so we're going to overshoot that slightly. It is best if we land in the water. Landing on land is not preferable. But I think we're going to be okay. Right then, let's fast forward because we've got a few kilometers to go yet. We haven't even started to heat up on the atmosphere. But we are now starting to get into the thicker part, so we should just start to see some. There we go. There's some heating coming in on the craft. There's the land on the other side that I don't really want to fly over, but I think we've misjudged it again. Never mind. We haven't got any temperature warnings. The ballast of the ship is very different because of the weight of the fuel. We're still going over 2 kilometers a second sideways. Roughly. Sideways. We're getting a little bit of heating. That's probably the nose cone. It might be the crew compartment. But it looks stable. As we drop down through the atmosphere, we are going to be even more... Oh, we're starting to do a twist, which is not good. We need to keep it level. There we go. Looks like we're doing quite well on the re-entry here. It is a very low profile that we're coming in at. It's a big belly flop. Yeah, there is some heat insulation. So as far as I'm aware, all of these parts can survive 2K in terms of heating. The part that was on here that could survive only 1,600 is no longer there. Right, we're now slowing down significantly so the heating is not going to be a problem. And we're 24 kilometers up and we're heading for the water. So far, so good. We probably won't even need landing legs. There we go. We're under a kilometer a second now. I'm not sure why, but the angle of everything is... Whoa, steady. We lost SAS. Oh, we lost our solar panels. Do we still have control? We still have control because Brandon's on board. Okay, thank goodness for that. We ran out of electric. Oh, we're flying it manually. We're flying manually now, folks. This is not great. There's no SAS system. We do have control because Brandon's in the cockpit to be able to press buttons. So we should be able to deploy chutes whenever we want. We're going a bit... Whoa, there we go. Going a bit fast. Come on, Brandon. Let's get this thing... Okay, I think it's about time to deploy those chutes now. There we go. That's going to spin them round, hopefully, when they inflate, which they will do at about a kilometre. They'll be causing some more drag now. It is really just heading towards the ocean, isn't it? Whee! Pulled 12 Gs there. Not the best, but perfectly survivable. There we go. Jesse surname. No AI. Yeah, no AI, mate. That's why I was so worried about the other one. Maybe we need better batteries in these rockets. Now, in theory, I could use the engine, like the rocket engines, to slow our descent. But if I do that too much... the parachutes will detect in 0 meters per second and detach, so we're not doing that. 12G is death. Not for Kerbals, it's not. Not for Kerbals. Okay, here we go. We're about to splash down. I can't turn SAS on or RCS, so... if we fall over, we fall over. But it doesn't look like... Oh, no. Oh, we did. We didn't fall over. Glue more solars to it. I mean, we could actually put a solar panel on the leeward side of the vessel. Just one little one. And that would be enough to keep things ticking along. As long as we landed in sunlight. Yeah, you are a scientist. That's why there was no SAS system on board. So we got 19,000 funds back from that, and Brandon and Jesse are both back. They both... oh, well, Jesse got 5 XP. Job's a good un. We just need to bring back the other vessel now. So let's head out to our orbit and see what the situation there is. So we've got a Finch in orbit here, which is supposed to be collecting the craft from Minmus that has ran out of fuel. So I think what we need to do... yeah, we could just stick them to the side of the ship. So I think what we need to do is we need to potentially refuel this Finch with another Finch, and then send it to Minmus to bring the other thing back. The digger, because the digger has ran out of fuel, and it's just orbiting Minmus. Let's fly the Finch and see how much fuel it's got on board. I mean, what we could potentially do is dock this Finch with the space station fuel up, and go, yes. Yes, that is what we'll do. Let's have a look at the time. Okay, so we've nearly had our 2 hours, but we'll see how it goes. Right then, so we are just less than half fuel. The space station is just behind us, so if we set it as a target and put ourselves in a prograde direction, according to our orbit, we will be able to make our orbit slightly bigger. And if we do that, then we will get closer to the space station. So there's one orbit where it's catching up with us, and I think the next orbit might be too much. Let's have a look. How close are those markers going to be? Space station just needs to pass that marker, I think. I think we need... Really? Is that it still? It's going to need another orbit to catch up. No, it overtook us. Oh, it overtook us. Okay. In that case, we definitely need to retrograde. Bring our orbit a little bit lower down. I think what we'll do is we'll refuel this, and then we'll nip over to Minmus at the beginning of next episode. Or would you like me to do it between streams? Let me know what you think. Just need to make sure we don't get too low. There we go. Lovely. We're quite close to each other. How far away are we? Not sure. What's working now? What? Okay. Apparently there was a problem about a message, but okay. Separation there, 17 kilometers. This is the separation I want to look at here. 1.1 kilometers. Oh, half a kilometer. Yes, I will take a half a kilometer separation. I think that's the space station behind us there. And just hopefully we're not in too much dark. Where is it? So it should be really close. There it is. There we go. Right. Let's open up the nose cone because we're going to get ready for a docking. Turn on the lights. And under that hatch there are actually lights as well. There's 4 lights in addition to the normal lights. And there we go. We're going to just push ourselves towards the space station at about 20 meters per second. Get ready with a retrograde burn. I don't like doing these things in the dark. Maybe we can get it round. Ooh, steady. Yeah, because I could end up hitting solar panels or something, and I don't really want to do that. There we go. Right. How close are we to sunrise? We're actually pretty close to sunrise, so I'm just going to... We are slowly floating away, but I'm going to float until we get to sunrise. There we go. Right, so there's the space station. Let's dock up here. Set that as our target. Control from here. And then if we just point ourselves at it and go near it and then use our monopropellant to do the final bit. We'll try and not smash too many solar panels this time. There we go. Oh, steady. Right, okay, here we go. So I'm going to deliberately come in slightly on this side. And we'll... There we go. We'll shut that engine down. And we will rotate the craft what I believe is the right way around. What's going on here? Just spinning randomly for some reason. Then we'll go into docking mode, get all of our controls ready. Let's get RCS. So that is left, so we need to rotate. Like this. Okay, that's the way we're docking in. Yep, that's the way we're docking in. We need to bring the nose up. There we go. And we need to get over this way more. And we need to be higher. There we go. Monoprop is fine. Giant ring of fuel tanks around a planet would be any use whatsoever. I'm not so sure about that, Brandon. This looks like it's going to be a relatively good dock, though. I like using the joystick for this because I have up, down, left, right, and the twist controls. So I can now... We need to go higher. I can arrest our sideways motion. I think we're... Oh, God, we're too close. Back, back. I thought we were getting a bit close there. We do not want to smash into the solar panels. Okay, overall, that's looking pretty good. We can start moving forward again, I think. There we go. 0.5 meter a second. Oh. Oh, a little nudge. Is it going to connect? Yes! There we go. So we managed to dock, and this is full of fuel. I remember refilling a lot of this. So we can go and fill up our massive tank here, and then that means we're going to have enough fuel to go off to Minmus and rescue our mining ship. Now, what I would like to do is put a mining ship on the moon so we can refuel the moon from, like the moon base from the moon. Oh my goodness, look at that. There we go. We're completely full on fuel. A full second stage, fueled up and ready to go. I guess we could have a look. There's a little bit of monopropellant left. There is a monopropellant tank. It's in the middle of this stage here somewhere. Is that it? No, this is it. There's the RCS fuel tank. And then if I alt-click here, we can just transfer the last bit into there and fill that up as well. Moon miners, yes. So I think what we'll do before the end of this series is we'll have a mining base on the moon to refuel the space station, and we can use that as a fueling outpost when we go somewhere else. So what we can do is launch a ship in orbit of Kerbin, maybe launch a few of them and connect them together into one big ship, fly it to the moon, refuel at the moon using our fuel base, and then go off to somewhere maybe like Eve. So there we go, folks. We have managed to get 2 of our 3 Kerbals back. The new, I forgot what we called it. What is this craft? That's a Mark II lander can. I can't remember what it's called. Let's have a look. I don't know. Whatever that vessel's called is doing really well. It got us back. This one's ready to go. Next time we'll pick up that moon ship, bring it back with us, and we will land back at Kerbin with that. Finish it off, get those contracts sealed, done, sorted, and get ready for finishing more contracts and moving on to the next ones. There's a quick save. Finch. Yes, that was it. Okay, and I'm going to end the giveaway. The winner of the giveaway was Disneyland.
Fantastic.
There you are. Fantastic. Congratulations. You won the giveaway. I'm pretty sure it was Finch. I'm pretty sure it was Finch. There we go. Oh, lovely. There we go. Well, I did hope to get a little bit more done today. I hope to bring the miner back as well. But I'd rather take our time and bring Kerbals back without killing them. I think that's kind of the important bit. So, yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm really enjoying Kerbal Space Program again. Hope you guys are. It's definitely challenged me in lots of ways. It's great fun to think about it and the ways to do it. And now that rocket is like fully reusable and reliable, we've got a good thing going on there. We've got a very good thing going on. You was the only one in it, you think? Maybe. Anybody can join in with the giveaways. Thank you very much, Jack Mac. There we go. So just to recap, this is going to be the last stream of the week. On Saturday, you should be getting your normal Open TTD video at 9 o'clock UK time. And then on Sunday, you'll be getting the first Factorio Season 3 video, which I'm looking forward to that going out, seeing what the feedback's like, seeing how much people like it. And then the clocks change around there, so be careful. So the UK is going to come into a line with UTC because we're changing our clocks. I've already updated my website where the streaming schedule is for the new times. And then we go. So next week we're going to have City Skylines again. We did our Brilliant Junction that seems to be doing a good job. And now I feel like we can expand the city. I want to unlock more stuff, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to have another round of city growth. We're just going to try and get more people into the city. But we recently unlocked offices. So what I might do is make like an office district where there are big patches of offices surrounded by high density residential and some commercial, to kind of feed that whole little area and see how that goes. I feel like it'd be good. You're going to watch it back, Egg says. Yeah, I might actually watch all of it back. When I'm editing them, because of the way I record the videos, I know I don't need to jump into various different points. So I skip through the video, but I might actually watch it back, Egg. And you got to remember, at the beginning of the series, you're not there. At the beginning of the series, Egg is not part of it. Egg joined us about three or four episodes in, I think it was. I can't remember. And if you want to be a part of the Factorio series and your Viewer Plus, you can. We're just doing a group project together. We've got a recording session in a couple of weeks. And it was great fun to do, and I'm looking forward to doing more. We'll definitely play... Well, the plan is to play at least until we launch a rocket. We might do more after. I don't know. Depends how much the viewers like the series. The viewers may love the series and want loads and loads of episodes. Or the viewers might not be that fussed. In which case, we'll get to the natural end point and call it a day. We will see. Speaking of calling it a day, I'm going to call it a day on this live stream and head off to bed. I've got a full day of work tomorrow, as normal in the week for me. And this weekend is a bit of family weekend. My wife is working, so it's me and the little one. We're going to do pumpkin carving. We're going to get some real life pumpkins and carve them. So that's going to be a fun activity to do probably at the weekend. And also, I think that's when we're going to be doing some ice skating and stuff. So hopefully we'll have lots of fun over the weekend. and I'll be back next week, all fresh, ready to go, take on another week. Yeah, that's what we like. That's the kind of energy I'm trying to keep up these days. Well, take care, everybody, and I'll see you for the next ones, everyone. Okay? Any thoughts, ideas, or questions? If you're not watching live, either put them in the comments or come over to the Discord where we've got our forum and our channels there. I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Good night. Goodbye.